Hello, my name is Alicia Rubitsky. I'm a doctoral researcher from the University of Birmingham. This afternoon I'm going to discuss a recent study where we investigated the effects of pharmacological manipulation of dopamine on learning from social and individual information. In this study, we aimed to determine if social learning is underpinned by the same domain-general neurochemical mechanisms underpinning learning from one's own experience, or non-social or individual learning. In existing studies showing associations between social and non-social learning, the social information often comprises an indirect source that can be used to supplement one's own direct experience. We thus hypothesized that social and individual learning can be dissociated at a neurochemical level along the directness but not the learning source axis. As dopamine plays a well-characterized role in reward learning, we tested this by pharmacologically manipulating dopaminergic signaling, specifically by administering haloperidol, a dopamine D2 receptor antagonist. On 2 separate days, participants were given haloperidol or placebo in a double-blind counterbalance design, before completing a probabilistic learning task which demanded learning from 2 information sources, social and non-social, and integrating both sources of information to choose the correct option and gain a reward. Participants were allocated to one of 2 task groups, with each group completing a different version of the learning task. In the social indirect group, the social information was an additional or indirect source of information, while for the social direct group, social information was the direct or experience value learning source. In both groups, the probability of social and non-social information being correct varied according to separate probabilistic schedules, allowing us to estimate learning rates separately for social and non-social information. Learning rates were estimated using an adapted version of a Rescola-Wagner learning model, with learning rates estimated separately for social and non-social information. A linear mixed effect model with random intercepts for subject was used to test our hypothesis that haloperidol would affect learning from the direct information source, regardless of social or non-social nature. Results showed that under haloperidol, a reduction in learning rate was observed for the direct learning source only. This reduction in learning rate under haloperidol was observed across both task groups, meaning that it was regardless of whether the direct information source was social or non-social. To summarize, we developed a task allowing dissociation of learning between both social and non-social and indirect and direct information sources. Dopamine receptor antagonism resulted in a decrease in learning rate when learning from the direct source of information, regardless of whether this was social or non-social. Our results do not support the existence of domain-specific mechanisms for social learning, instead providing evidence that social learning may be underpinned by domain-general neurochemical mechanisms. Thank you for listening.